Guys, welcome back. It's Javier Paredes here. Thank you so much for tuning back in. I'm so happy to be here with you guys again today. I want to talk about what are some of the most important things that I have learned in 2023. One that sounds really simple that really hit home. I was in a mastermind the other day, and Pace Morby was one of the speakers, of course, the famous Pace Morby, and he said something that sounds really simple, and I had to think about it for a second. And he went in depth on the subject, but he's like, "It's not about the deal." I was like, "What do you mean, not about the deal?" Right in my head, I'm like, "What do you mean it's not about the deal?" It's not about the deal, is what he said. Stop focusing on the deal, right? Because we're all so focused on, cash flow, for instance. If this property doesn't cash flow, I'm not going to take this property down. And so we all know that. If you follow Pace Morby, he has a different lens in the way he looks at these properties, right? And so being that he has been one of my, major influencers, I have been able to take his lens and put it on my face. And so what does that mean? It's not about the deal. So what he meant by that is when you look at these deals, and for you guys who know, a lot of subject to deals, they don't cash flow. And so obviously you have different exit strategies like a wrap around mortgage you can do with them to cash flow. But a lot of these deals, he's not even touching wraps anymore. And what he's doing is he's taking properties, putting a tenant in them, breaking even, because he's not focused on the cash flow. He's focused on other things in the cash flow. Like he's focused on the long-term appreciation. He's focused on the depreciation. He's focused on the future leverage of doing a cash out refinancing, that property becoming a money farm and gaining equity over time, and him being able to take that money out, keeping the asset tax-free money and rolling into another deal. And so that is just one quick example of what I mean. It's not about the deal. Going back to another thing, for instance, let's say you do a flip property and you're looking at the flip property, you're like, this thing wasn't the most profitable, or maybe you broke even. So this is another aspect. It's not about the deal. Start focusing on the relationships that you've built and cultivated through doing that flip property. It could be contractors. It could be a lender. It could be a future JV partner. It could be, maybe a private money lender. Think about all the good that has come out of it. Because guess what? If you're watching this, you're going to have so many deals that you do. This isn't going to be your first or last one. There's going to be wins. There's going to be losses. But start focusing on the things that have come out of the deal and having that mindset of like, oh, I can take this down creatively and maybe it doesn't cash flow, but think about that future appreciation, right? And obviously this is all subjective to what financial standpoint you're in your life, but still, even if you don't have a lot of money rolling in and you wanted to take a property for depreciation standpoint because maybe you're a W-2 and you're working a 9-to-5 and you want to capture some depreciation on an asset, right? And so looking and having that lens and putting it on your face when you're looking at deals is really going to open up more deals to you. And so when he said that the other day, it really resonated to me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop focusing so much about the deal. Now, I'm not going to go out and buy a home that I'm going to lose thousands and thousands of dollars. It's not what I mean. It's more focusing on the relationships, the people I've met, and all the other good that I get out of the deal versus just like cash flow. So narrow-minded. Don't be narrow-minded. So that was a huge, huge takeaway for me. And one of the bigger takeaways in this last 2023 is we all hear creative finance. I've been in real estate now since 2015, and having these tools at my disposal in my tool belt to be able to continue to scale, because right now I've scaled my portfolio starting out using traditional banks and putting all that money down and having to work with a bank. I didn't know what I didn't know. And now that I know creative, it's made me more of a powerful player, because it was just that hammer that I needed in my tool belt to get that nail in the board faster. And now I feel like I've got that. So one of my big learning lessons was like, utilize creative finance to continue to scale your portfolio. If not, guess what? And you're an investor and you've been doing this for years, or if you do it full time like I do, then what's going to happen? Your portfolio is going to stop scaling. You're gonna wait around and wait for the banks to lower the rates, which they probably not gonna do for a long, long time. I mean, the 2 and the 3% is gone. The free money is gone. Now it might get down in the fives maybe, but debt structure is not what debt structure used to be. Cheap debt structure is not what it used to be years ago. And so me being able to take and utilize creative finance to continue to scale or lock up deals and assign them to other investors is freaking powerful. I mean, that takeaway between those two takeaways for me is just like crazy. And so one of the things too, as I've left this last mastermind in Arizona recently, I was in Scottsdale, Arizona. I left the multifamily mastermind, was raising capital, taking capital, raising it, and be able to deploy it into an awesome operator like Vina Jetty. And so that was such a huge takeaway for me, because raising capital for a lot of people is, one, very difficult. Two, they don't like it. They don't have the personality type for it, and it's not in their Clifton strength or their assessment, right? And for me, when I started looking at multifamily, I was like, oh, where do I fit in best? And so I started looking. I was like, wow, I can raise capital. I could be a capital guy. I can have my own fund, and I could do a fund to funds with Vina Jetty, who's an awesome operator, right? And that's the beauty. The beauty about having a fund is you could do that with a boutique hotel. You could do that with a storage facility. You find really good operators in each a storage facility operator, a single family operator. It could be whatever, and you're able to raise capital and deploy into their deals somebody who you know, like, and trust, and who aligns with your morals. So these are huge takeaways. And for me right now, I'm looking for scalability. For you coming in, you might be looking at, your first home. And that's why going back to creative finance, and you might say, you know what, I don't have the W-2 income, or maybe I don't have, because we all know banks have gotten really strict right now. They're tightening up their guidelines to be able to let you borrow money. They're mitigating the risk for the borrowers right now and saying, you have to have a really good credit score. You need a little bit more money down, or you're too much of a liability for us to work with you. We don't want to lend you the money. Or maybe you're a 1099 employee and you're like, oh, well, I can't get financing because I need 2 years income. So going back, you're going to see creative finance is going to be able to solve that problem. That's a huge takeaway for me, right? And then so the multifamily and the scalability of it, once I learned it, I was like, wow. I've been messing with single family for all this time, and I'm going to continue to pick up good deals, but only good deals, but put my focus into multifamily. And so these were like huge takeaways, and these were like light bulb moments for me, was the creative finance and multifamily. And I'm like, man, how come I haven't been in the multifamily arena all this time? And guess what? You can do creative finance in the multifamily space. A lot of people are doing seller finance with multifamily right now because debt structure from banks is too expensive. So they're securing these units with seller finance. And so that's awesome. You also have loan assumptions in multifamily, which is very common. And you can take over 3 and 4% interest rates. Light bulb moments for me. These are huge light bulb moments for me in 2023. And so these are things that I'm like, okay, from a standpoint of scalability and to continue to build my net worth, where I'm at today, is super huge for me. And these are huge takeaways. And getting to talk to Nick, the attorney, I can't remember his last name, but he's a securities attorney. I had a lot of light bulb moments going with him and how to properly raise capital, do a correct CF fund. And so these were big takeaways for me in 2023. I thought I would just share those with you guys. But I wanted to let you guys know, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure down below, don't forget, I'm going to be dropping Nick, his information down there. He's one of the best security attorneys out there. Vina Jetty, her information, Pace Morby, everybody's information is going to be down below, along with my YouTube channel, my Instagram. Follow me, continue to keep up with everything that I'm doing. There's going to be tons of value for you guys in there. And thank you guys. I'm going to see you guys on the next episode.